the memory of, an apple orchard is for you, for me, it might be very different. Like some of them know the ingredient itself, some of them know it by the product and think that smells or tastes like apple. I'm basically, from Ahmedabad. So I have spent my schooling, my childhood there in a convent school. I did my bachelor's in commerce there, and then I wanted to move into advertising. So I, shifted to Pune in International School of Business and Media. I had a knack of writing one-liners and puns, and I wanted to do this creative advertising. And there I was, and it was a year of recession, very tough when I actually, finished my post-graduation. And I was looking for a job, and I came here to Mumbai to start, with really smaller ad agencies and looking to move on. And as I was progressing, I was looking at a role into the marketing side. And there I came across and stumbled upon something like this world of fragrances, where they were looking for a role in marketing. But I think destiny had it where I came for the interviews, and I was asked to actually give a smelling test, which was something in blind, in my own words, like picking the odd one out, rating them in terms of intensity, and describing your own words. What do you think about these fragrances? And luckily, I really did well. And then I was trained for the first 3 months under perfumers in one of the fragrance houses. And that's how my journey started, because it was a decision to move from a very different industry, which I really wanted to be, but now I'm destined to be here. Advertising was more about communication, and this was more about product. So, the similar way, but it got into more of things like detailing, understanding trends, about meeting people. And that's how I started developing a lot of interest with, because I was curious to experiment with ingredients and flavors and fragrance. So that's how I thought like diversifying my experience was good. And to keep all my motivation going, I keep trying out new things. During the lockdown, I experimented with a lot of things where like this Zoom sessions were on, and you could get some nice tasting kits, from cheese, chocolates to spirits to teas. And that's how I started also writing my poems, because they were restricted to blogs, and now I started into publishing. So connecting with people, traveling, music therapy, it helps a lot, to unwind. And I think it's always, this profession is very people related, with more and more curiosity, and this keeps me going. So that's a bit about my journey. Fragrance evaluation, even when I came into, I didn't know what was the role about, and I just took a leap of faith, and just trusted myself, saying, let me dive into this. I'm sure it would be much more interesting. So one is like, you need to have a sharp sense of smelling or taste if you want to enter into flavors. And this all happens, one is because, some things are inherited, some are acquired, and you have to keep practicing these things. And you have to have the curiosity to learn and experiment more and more. So, for this, I really love trying on new products, smelling new things, be it flowers, fruits, something like that. And that's how I started, first 3 months was just diving into smelling, to distinguish, to identify, to understand. So there's no right and wrong, because all of us come from different cultures and environments. We are exposed to different kinds of ingredients since our childhood. And that's how, it's ingrained in us. So whatever, say for example, so it all depends on the reference point that we are first exposed to. And in this career, it is not just about smelling, but it was also about understanding different cultures. So I work across different global markets, understanding, each of them, that what they're exposed to, what they really like, what are the trends that are there. It's very interesting to see that. So I think sharp sense and curiosity for what's going on in the world, what are people liking, always good to know what's really happening in the world. And also interacting with people, getting to understand what are the fragrances that really, You can kind of design for various brands, for various formats. Why something works and doesn't work is something that the technical expertise, which we have to keep developing as and when we practice. But I think, it's more of like a lot of research development, and it doesn't end with what you know. You have to keep learning and aspiring for more. So there are two ways, because I am not from a very science field. I said I did my bachelor's in commerce, and from marketing I came here. But I feel that this field is not just limited. A science or a chemistry is always a must-have, because you understand the technicalities better. But I had a real good team to explain to me in a very simplistic layman's language of how things work. So I think if you have the knack in you, you can, really do these things. But mostly I'll come to the science background first. So people do a lot of perfumery courses. If you go online, you can see a lot of, colleges that offer perfumery. There are few in Mumbai, there are few in France. So you'll have to do a little research to see, there are perfumery courses if you want to become a perfumer, where you work in creating the fragrances. So for there, you need to have a science and chemistry background, because you're playing around with chemistry, with the raw materials, with the formulae. But if you're into evaluation, you can also be from a pharmaceutical industry, a microbiome, life sciences, biotech backgrounds. They always help, or people from food technology. So these are all added advantages, because today people learn and study something, but once you do your internship, you work, you sometimes come to know crafted for something else, depending, one is what you're good at and what really interests you. So you try to combine the two, saying that, this is what I really want to do. So I think it's built up on each individual of what they want to do, how they want to work. In evaluation, it's more about having people skills, managing projects, continuously having an ownership of driving things, coordinating with different teams, and ensuring that all your fragrances are developed in the right way, and you're exposed and updated always. And these all have, deadlines and pressures in their own way. But it is always fun, because sometimes you come up with very newer ideas. You meet newer people from different industries. So I think if you have the knack of smell and taste, you can pursue this. And there are a lot of courses, even if you're from an arts or commerce background. There are courses into cheese, chocolates, and winery. They are mostly globally recognized, conducted by few representatives who are there here in India. And they have a lot of credibility and value. And again, in that also, there are different careers. So, people from hospitality background come in, people who are not from the industry and who want to start something into entrepreneurship, consultancy, working with these kind of brands and various things, like even sustainability, something that's picking up. So there are always new roles and new jobs coming in the same thing, where they require people with, energy and that dynamic personalities to get things done, to bring in new, fresh perspective. So if you see now, most of the things come more as a trend, because it's all about health and fitness. It's all about sustainability.
Right.
So I think it's more and more because of global warming. People do not want to eat meat, etc. So they're looking at plant-based, options and vegan options. And this is more because people want to do things in a very natural way and explore more and more ingredients which they haven't had. So I think vegan is more of an individual, I would say, option that people do it. And, they're looking in, one is because, a lot of people are, really are not brought up eating meat, etc. So they want to go vegan. And certain is more like a trend that, we're seeing, because today a lot of restaurants offer vegan options. So It's not bad. It's about adding health and taste to your food, but giving people more and more to choose from. So people have this gluten-free, people are, lactose intolerant, dairy, etc. So, I think people are more and more looking at different options or sources, because tomorrow the way climatic changes are happening, the flora and fauna are so endangered. So, you can't just depend on that. So they're looking at newer hybrid ways of sourcing food as well, sourcing the ingredients and seeing what combinations really work. And I think it's like offering a lot, because I've tried all of these kinds of foods, and it's very interesting because the way people say, oh, it's vegetarian or it's vegan, it's not this. People have tried making it really flavorful. People have tried creating that interest. And I think it's more about how you market it. And also the product on the table needs to be really good for, people to accept it as a way of life, and looking how to innovate more in this area. So now vegan is not just about food, it's gone to chocolates, it's gone to vegan cheese, so everywhere but a lot of people are not aware what it understands. So,
Right.
A lot of people don't read what's there in the communication or on the packs, and they just feel like it's a trend, let me try, etc. I think educating people, making them aware of what, these stand for and what they bring, I think that's very important. There are no steps as such, but I'll just tell you how the process works. It's basically like I would compare something with advertising to this. So advertising, you have a creative team, somebody who develops the copywriting and somebody who creates the visuals or the ads. And here you have creative as a perfumer who creates the fragrances. Here you have people into account management or client servicing and advertising. In the fragrance industry, you have people who are into sales, who are account managers, who get the briefs, who get the business. And then you have this intermediary that's there. So it's all about tying up. Like I said, your day begins with proactively doing something that you feel is the gap or the need in the market. One is when you get briefed by the brands of what is the next fragrance they want to do for that particular format, where are they launching. So getting more and more into details, understanding the need gaps. I think it's a lot of your own research and understanding, because like I said, the data is there, the people are there, but it's how you utilize it. So more and more understanding consumer. We do a lot of consumer research, like you do product concept research, you do more and more into fragrances. So if we launch something into soaps, we actually wash with the consumers. We see where is the strong and the weak markets there. What do they really like about this fragrance? So you see a pattern from it. One is what they say. One is what you observe their body language. One is what products they're exposed to. What is in that particular soap or fragrance that they're liking, not liking. So there are a lot of things that you need to question yourself, observe and understand, those fine, thin lines, reading beyond the lines kind of a thing. Where whatever research things are there, one is the data and how do you really interpret and analyze the data, even if it's quantifiable or a qualitative kind of a data. Understand and see what is it that you take to improvise the particular fragrance. So then you go and brief perfumers, you try and connect with the trends team on the marketing. It's about getting all the details for you from different aspects, from different places, and culminating it at one place, and then coming out with, okay, now I have this, what is the next thing I need to do? So you make a strategy there saying that based on these details, now I'll go and devise certain fragrance. So I don't tell the perfumer what to use. I just give them a direction, a guideline that I need to go in floral, and if it's floral, which kind of floral, or what is it that when people smell this, it should connote freshness to them, it should connote sweet, it should connote something which is something very caring. So all these attributes that are there. So more and more when you go for research, you meet people, you do all these trends, understanding, smell more and more products as you travel, retail stores, e-commerce, when you go to duty-free shoppings, just see and just sometimes observe people also, how they ask for products, how they shop, what is the first thing that comes to their mind, and impulsive shopping and all these kind of habits. So I think it's always good that you go out and observe these things. All these things kind of help you to devise a fragrance for the product, and beyond that to think what next you could do. So every product, every brand has a vision that after this where you want to go and what's the next thing you want to do. Just like you have a vision for your career, even a brand has a vision. So I think all this really helps you, in your day-to-day jobs and even in the long term.